Hey Mo, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. Nice, beautiful, rainy day up here in the Pacific Northwest.
Nice. We got a sunny day here in
I
Philly.
know, I can see the brightness behind you. Jealous. Jelly.
What's up?
Nothing. I feel like I haven't seen you in a minute.
I know it's been too long.
I
We
miss
got
you.
to
Come
make this
back.
more of a regular thing. Y'all come to
Yeah.
Philly.
I don't know about y'all. Maybe I will. I'm not bringing all them bad kids. Mm-mm. I know that's who you really want to see anyways.
Both of y'all. I mean, not both, but you know what I
Oh.
mean. Family and you.
So what's going on?
I don't know. You tell me. Sound like you got some juicy stuff going on.
Oh, nothing juicy. Okay. No, I was trying to tell you the other day about just something that happened that really got under my skin. Not under my skin, it pissed me off, really, if we're just gonna be blunt about it. And I don't know if I'm reading too much into it, so I need you to kind of talk me down or like let me know if I'm being overreactive or whatever.
Okay.
So, this is something that happens a lot, I feel like. When you ask somebody for information and they don't give you the information, they make a judgment. So if you say, oh, like the COVID shots are out or whatever, and I was at the store, wherever, with my mom, and she asked about, hey, how much are the COVID shots here? Because she's been having an issue getting it at her hospital, her doctor. And the guy's like, oh, they're really expensive. And we walked away from that exchange like, why didn't you give us information? Like, why did you say it's expensive? Like, that's not what I asked. And so that happened to me the other day. My daughter has an eye condition. And I went into an optometrist's office I was referred to, and I asked some questions. And I said, hey, I heard you do these special contact lenses for young children to help, slow their eyes, protect their eyes, whatever. And I inquired about that. I said, would she be able to get them here? Should I make an appointment? And he said, yes, but they're really expensive. And it wasn't like, hey, let's make an appointment. Let's see your child. Or, hey, this is how much they cost. And I had let him know she was using a different brand of similar contacts. So it's not like I haven't made an investment in her vision, whatever. But he kept telling me they were expensive. They're really expensive. They're really expensive. And I'm sitting here like,
Thanks, man.
but I'm thinking, is it because of the way I presented myself that you think I can't afford these? And I don't know if that's me putting stuff on it, but
No,
it
I
just
hate
seemed
that.
dismissive. Like if I came in from work, if I came in carrying my nice bag, hair, because I came in looking how I normally, like I do right now, like, because I don't care. And I walked in there asking for information. Very dismissive. It's expensive. Why don't you go to this place over here? They may have something that works for you, which is kind of like, I know we talked about, I don't know if you saw Pretty Woman, but it's that Pretty Woman moment that's like, oh, we don't have anything for you, whatever. And she goes out and gets stuff and comes back and goes, big mistake. Like, I don't know. I feel like I have money to spend. Like, you don't want my money? Like, I don't
That is
know. I don't
I would
know.
file a customer service complaint. I feel like that's worthy of a customer service complaint. But also, you didn't stand up for yourself either, from what
But
it
I feel
sounds.
like a lot of it is like, I don't care to engage in that way. What do I say in that point? Do I
What's the
say,
price?
what's
What's
the
the
price?
number?
But that's not what I was even asking about. He brought price
Oh,
into it before I even, because I was like, do you do that here? Yes, but they're very expensive. Okay, but that's not what I never asked you how much it cost. I asked,
yeah.
do you do this? Do you offer this
When
service?
can I get it scheduled?
Yeah. I mean, I guess, but I'm going, he referred me somewhere else and that's where I'm going and it's
Yeah,
getting
you don't
done.
want to give
But
them your money. That's the other thing too.
I
You
just,
don't
it
want to give them
felt
your
really, ugh, because I was like, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I mean, I don't know what people out there in the world are doing, but if I have an issue, a health issue, a medical issue, I'm looking for a vaccination, I'm looking for a particular service. Don't you think I, as a I mean, I consider myself a responsible individual, have looked into this before coming to you and seeing if I could get your services? You think I don't know how much they cost? You think I don't know what ballpark we're dealing with here? Like, or the fact that it's for my daughter. I would pay anything to protect her vision because if it doesn't get protected, she may lose it.
Oh,
So
shoot.
yeah, so it's just one of those things that's like, I'm sure if somebody was interested, there would be a payment plan or there would be, you know what I mean? Like you would find ways to do it. I don't
Yeah.
know. It just seemed very dismissive. Like, I don't even want to deal with you. We're not even going to discuss her records. We're not going to discuss what her history is. It's too expensive.
And just
So
sent you on your way.
yeah. And I was like, all right, cool. I gotta go do some stuff anyway. So I don't have time to be going back and forth. I feel like it's not worth you know how I am. And lately I've been just really anxious and on edge and all this kind of stuff. So I'm not going to go back and forth with somebody who's already dismissing me for whatever. So fine. Okay, not you. I'm gonna go find somebody else who's gonna help me. Like, whatever.
That's how I am. Like, I don't see why people are like Black people, for instance, are always crying about a restaurant or something not welcoming them. It's like, okay, you showed your face, and now I'm not
Hmm.
going there again.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get my money. I saw something online where it was like these people in suits. They look very professional. They're at a high end restaurant, and they got kicked out. And no context, of course. They never want to give you that. So I don't know why they got kicked out, but
Hmm.
they were recording while they were still there because they had put an order in for drinks. So somewhere between paying the bill and ordering more drinks, they got kicked out. Like somebody said made a decision to get them kicked out.
Wow.
And they were all trying to plead with like the police because the police were there at this point. And
Dang. What were they doing to have the police called?
in suit, there was just a bunch of older people like 50s and 60s in suits. Like they
Where
didn't
was this
it was,
city?
I don't remember.
Uh-huh.
It was down south somewhere.
Wow.
But they were all sitting at the table, and one guy's like, "I know the mayor. I'm gonna make sure that I." And it's like,
Who
okay, now
cares?
you're trying to
Yeah.
prove yourself. You're trying to prove yourself that I'm worthy of this meal. Like, and I think that's the problem these days. It's like too much having to prove yourself. Everybody is
Yeah.
worth unless they prove otherwise. But when you don't have anything to go by, like you can't just automatically think because somebody's Black. Like, so I want to get the more of the story on that because
Hmm.
you can't come throwing up the mayor and all this stuff.
Or just my thing is like, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to know who I know. You don't need to know what car I drive, how much money I have in my wallet. You don't need to know where I live, what I do for a living. You don't need to know any of that. I
Mm-hmm.
came asking for your services. I don't care what I'm dressed like. I mean, and I came home, I talked to my husband about it because I was just like pissed about it. Because I was like, well, I frustrated because I'm trying to get this done for my daughter, one, and two, to be dismissed without information that I sought. And so it seemed to me like you're making judgments because price is subjective. Like being expensive or being cheap is subjective. Like it varies from person to person what your range is, what you think is expensive, what you think isn't. And so for him to make that judgment when I wasn't really asking about money in the first place, but just to make that judgment instead of saying, he could have been like, well, this is less effective than this option. Like, you're the doctor, you're not like the bursar or the bursar, who am I,
Dude, I'm
the
gonna put a customer complaint.
the cashier. So I mean, but I talked to my husband about it, and we had a similar thing happen at my daughter's school when she was in kindergarten. And this woman, I mean, I would drop her off, and I had all my kids and whatever. And this woman asked something. I said, my husband's out of town for work. Oh, really? What does he do? And I mentioned he's a lawyer. And we met in law school or whatever. And she was like, lawyers? You guys are you guys don't look like lawyers. And I was sitting there like, what the hell does that look like?
Yeah, I would have asked.
What does that look like? And I was, and I was kind of, I mean, I'm not a very confrontational person. So I was like, yeah, we're pretty casual people. That's what I said. That's how we're very casual. You'll see us in sweats. We went to a comedy show in Vegas in sweats. Like, we don't give a
Relationship.
nothing. We don't care. We want to be comfortable. That's just life. And so just that idea. And this weekend I heard somebody say, well, he doesn't look like a doctor. And I'm like, well, what does that look like?
Doctors be on coked out and everything. Like,
but I mean, what does stuff look like? What is are we all supposed to walk around in suits all day? Like, I don't understand. So you never know who you're dealing with. Or like, who's a Facebook guy?
Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, he's always just in a t-shirt and same clothes every day. And you kind of my husband listened to a podcast, or he saw something about success, Steve Jobs, whatever. And a lot of people who are highly successful, and this is totally off topic and has nothing to do with what we're talking about, highly successful, are very regimented. And if you open their closet, they probably have 50 black t-shirts, 50 pairs of jeans, because that's one less thing that their brain has to be occupied with, and they can focus that on the task that they have to do. Yeah. So you're familiar with that, right? So that's just a thing. So it's like, how do you, the people who are showing out, that's who I'm concerned about. We've talked about that. Yeah. And that's another reason I didn't get, hey, why aren't you telling me this is, because I don't have anything to prove to you. I'm just trying to get a service, man. That's it. And if you're not going to give it to me and I got to go through hoops to get it from you, I'm going to go somewhere else.
Yep. I think I told you about how I went to this restaurant. It's what you have to book months in advance. It's a high-end restaurant. You're in Philly. You get a prefix menu and everything.
I love a prefix. Give me the food. I don't have to make decisions. It's there. Bring it.
It's like 5 courses in this company with like wine. And I had waited. This was before I stopped, my end of the year drinking. And I get there, I'm not being served. Like I'm just sitting there, no water or anything. And I'm looking at
Mm.
everybody just standing around, like, because I was by the kitchen, which I didn't mind. I was by myself.
But that's
Because,
something too. When they put you by the kitchen, isn't that supposed to be like a, oh, we'll put you in the back somewhere? You know
it
what I
was
mean? I
fine
always
because I'm
wonder.
like, it was either that or the bar. And so
Yeah.
I don't even think like I didn't even ask about the bar. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, it was in the kitchen. There were other people back there. So it wasn't like I
Yeah.
was back there. And they didn't offer me water or anything. And I'm like, excuse me, may I have some water? Like to someone
Yeah.
who just
That's
looked
terrible.
friendly. It was like someone, she had like her head shaved and a sleeve and stuff. I was like, okay, she looks cool.
Yeah.
Um, so finally the guy saw, and then he comes and he's just like not really helping me. He's awkward, very awkward and weird. And I'm seeing him with the people next to me be fine, come and check on them to see how their food is. And it was just so freaking weird. And then at one point they brought me cheese, even though they knew I was vegan. And I'm like, excuse me, this is cheese. So I think
This is cheese.
and I told it to that person that I had stopped the first time.
Uh-huh.
And they were like, oh, you're vegan. I don't know why they didn't, so that wasn't even my waiter. I just could tell, like, so I'm using my prejudice. I'm seeing that
And
this
was that the
person's,
only person? That was the only person that gave you any kind of service?
yeah, that was the only person who really helped me. And that wasn't even my server. So anyway,
Jeez.
I'm coming and he's coming and trying to tell the story because I'm hearing him tell the story. Like he'll tell the story of the wines and he's just like lackluster. And I'm hearing him next to me tell the story. It's just so weird because everybody's getting the same courses and
Service.
everything.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
So anyway, at the end, he brings me a check for 2 people. And I'm like, excuse me, it's just me. And
So you were
so,
there by yourself. Did he think you were
yeah,
waiting for somebody? Could that have been what it was? Like he thought,
no, I had a reservation for one and he brought
and
me
he should know
everything.
that.
And then I was asking him for what do you call it, to go boxes
Uh-huh.
as the because I couldn't eat it all.
Yeah.
And so he knew it was just me. And so
Huh.
he gives me a check for 2 people, and I finally tell the person in the suit, who I assume is like the manager or something.
He could have been the busboy.
Yeah, like, hey, like, do I look like a manager? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. Um, he had a cute little suit too, like I think it was like teal, like a baby
Like a
blue.
trendy. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, he looked and he's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." Like he was very apologetic, and I think he already knew the fumbles that were happening, And so he said, "I'm just gonna take a drink off," which was at that place expensive because I had gotten a
Mhm.
drink before the wine courses. So he took that
Look at
off.
you before the wine courses.
Yeah.
There's, oh, okay. So there's wine pairings. It was the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he took that off and he said he was so sorry and that was it. But I said I was going to write about it and then I just forgot. It's like I'm not trying to prove myself to anything. The experience has been had. And it sucks
Yeah.
because I think what sucks too is I've gone to places and I had a good time and I didn't think about the company I was with when I
Hmm.
had a good time or was treated a certain way. And then I go
Hmm.
back and it's completely different. Like one
Mm.
time I was with this white guy and we went to this bar and they were bringing us samples and telling us the origin of the drinks and all this stuff. And I was
Wow.
raving about it to my friend. I was like, "Oh my God, we gotta go check this out." And we go, and it's just like no
Different.
acknowledgement. Yeah, it was crazy. Now it wasn't the
Mm.
same person either, so I can't, maybe, but I can see they were helping again, helping other people around us and everything.
Mm.
And we were like, I'm black, she's Asian, so I don't know, like, but in my mind, it was completely day and night. And so I think about that, like, who's the company I'm with when I'm going to something. Like I went on a date to one place I had gotten bad service with, and that was with a white guy, and we had no problems. Like they came and checked on us and all this stuff. Like it was just like, what?
That's the stuff that like, and this is going a completely different direction, but I feel like this is a privileged conversation because I
Mm,
wonder, like, I hate that this is in our minds, because that's what I immediately thought. Because I mean, I live up here. It's
yeah.
very homogenous, very white up here. So everybody in the eye office or whatever, the optometrist office was white and middle aged to older. And I come in a Nike sweatshirt, tennis shoes, jeans, whatever, with a backpack, and immediately the look on the face is like, oh, okay. And there's a shift or and this is weird, and this is something I noticed, and I don't know that, like, if my husband had gone in, he probably would have gotten a different response. He would have gotten an appointment for my daughter. She would have been in there getting her stuff done. I guarantee, I feel
I
like
gotta
that's what would
test
have
it out.
happened. We
Please just
should.
be
You know what? Maybe I'll ask him to go in there and see about it.
yes.
But I feel like there's an energy shift.
Mhm.
And I don't know how to explain it to people who are not um, aware of it already. Because I think even if I took my husband there, he wouldn't notice. Like if he just happened to be a bystander, wasn't even with me, he wouldn't notice the shift. I don't know, because there's a
Mhm.
tensing up. Like the lady at the front desk, her
Yep.
her demeanor changed. She
Mhm.
looked at me, she kind of cocked her head to the side a little different. And then she was like, "So you're looking to make an appointment for yourself?" And I was like, "Lady, were you not listening to me? I didn't even say anything about myself. I mentioned everything about my daughter." And so it's weird to me, it's almost like they can't hear you because they're too busy trying to see you in a way. It's weird, but there
And
is an energy shift.
they can't see you when they're walking past you on the sidewalk trying to hog
Yeah,
up the
or cutting in front of you in line because they didn't see you in line, like stuff like that. But it's an energy shift. But I do think I have experienced that. Like when you and I go out, or
Mhm.
me and whoever, versus when I go out with my husband.
Mhm.
And what I mean, and this is again the privilege, just walking through the world as a white man is a
Mhm.
different experience, or being white man adjacent, if that
Yeah.
makes sense, or whatever. It's a very different experience. Um,
I've had
it's
that
weird.
happen. I've been partying in LA,
Hey,
my 20s with my friends, going out, getting hammered, and then off to get more drinks on the way to the after party at somebody's house and
mm-hmm.
getting stopped by cops. And
Mm-mm.
this happened a couple times. And all they do is bat their little eyes and,
Mm.
officer, I wasn't drunk. Officer, I wasn't
Oh
drunk.
no.
I thought it was cool back then. I'm like, we could have put somebody's life could have been endangered because of that person's privilege, including mine, because I
Yeah.
was with them. I was excited, I was glad. And I was in the back seat and I was kind of scared. I'm like, oh my God, are they gonna get in trouble because of me? But no.
No, I don't have any cop stories. I don't have any run-ins with cops, thankfully.
But it is perception. I remember when I first moved to LA, I was going, you can go on my Instagram and see it's my first pin photo. I was going to clubs in my button-up learner shirts,
Oh
like
my gosh.
my after
Business
work stuff.
casual.
Yeah, business casual with my fro, because I always wanted to be natural and I always tried to here or
Hmm.
there. And but LA got me. So I'm going to bars and stuff like that and having to pay a cover or having to get there really early not to pay a cover. And
Mm.
then I started working out, got some weave and stuff.
Yep.
People coming and letting me in places and stuff. And I'm like, whoa, that I got to feel what that feels like, just to be
That's
let in.
that
And then
pretty privilege we've talked about. Because there's certain
yeah,
things that are considered pretty, the longer hair and the slimmer body and the whatever outfit. Yeah. Yeah. That's that pretty
yeah,
privilege.
because they think that because the way you look, a guy is going to buy drinks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
happened in those other days because I would be with somebody pretty and they would buy me drinks too, even though I'm in my work club.
Oh, I can't even think about the club and stuff anymore. Oh,
But it is true. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. Like I've sat with people's bottle serves. That's how I know these rich people do coke because I've seen it.
I've never seen Coke in person. I'm a little
And
goody
I'm just
goody.
like,
I don't know anything about
wow,
that. Oof.
in public
Bottle
place.
service.
Yeah.
But I mean, what do you think about that? So then what do you, because we've talked about this before, and I know you're always like, well, this is who I am. This is how I look. This is what's going on. This is how I present on dates, on this, on that, whatever. So I wonder though, if you know that this is the way the world works, or the way that you get treated with, it's a conflict for me, because it's like, I do want to be treated a certain way. I do want to receive the services I'm seeking. I want to get this stuff, and I don't want to go through the world in a constant state of conflict, or ugh, like I don't know what that is. So I think I do, if I'm going places, I do put effort into my appearance in a certain way that is like, hey, I'm going to this spot. This is what is expected of this spot. This is how I'm going to look, whatever. Um, and I do know that I'm treated differently, so
Except
I
in
do
comedy
act
club.
accordingly. Yeah, well, I mean, you're in Vegas. I was tired. It was whatever. But I mean, if I'm going someplace where I know I'm going to be treated better, like if I was going to doctor's office. I mean, I don't even care about stuff like that. Simple surfaces like that. It shouldn't matter what you look like. Shouldn't matter anywhere. But if I'm going to like Tiffany to go shop for jewelry, I'm not going to go in looking busted. I mean, I may do my hair or something, you know what I mean? But like, or I put a little effort into the way I dressed
It's
more
Tiffany,
so
even I
than
feel
if
like
I don't
like
know. I see that's how
Starbucks.
out of it I am. I have no idea. Chanel, I don't know these. I don't do that stuff. So I I don't know. But if I went to Rodeo, is that still a thing? If I was gonna go walking down there and shopping and I have no, this is how out of it I am. I'm like, whatever. But if I was gonna do that and spend money at a place like that, I would dress a little more appropriately than if I was going to Walmart to go pick up some tampons. You know what I mean? Like there's a different, and I don't know if that's ridiculous.
I don't know. I feel like you would, excuse me, I think you would fit in Philly because everybody is pretty casual. Like I just put
Yeah,
on a dress and shoes. Like I don't dress up, but I just put on regular, what I consider regular clothes,
that's
and
dressy.
can't leave the house and people I get compliments. I'm like, I'm in my Walmart outfit.
Hey, okay. No, but even when you were here, you had outfits. You were dressed. Like I don't dress like that. Like I don't have like you had cute little colors and tops and jeans, you know, like cute outfits. And I'm sitting here sweatpants or jeans and a hoodie. That's my everyday. Um,
I'm jeans
and
and a t-shirt and just a
hey,
jacket, like just add a
t-shirt
jacket
and
in
my
here.
panties on. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But perception, the whole idea that whatever, because you can't control what people are thinking in their mind when they take you in and they look at you and they take in race, gender, weight, height, style, way of talking,
Great
what,
one.
what bag you're wearing. Do you have glasses? I mean, whatever things that their criteria of how to size you up and categorize you, like we've talked about, like you have no control over that.
You
But
don't.
if they're in a position of some kind of power where they have a service you require or a good that you need to get and you can't get it because they're sizing you up, like what the hell are you supposed to do? And I know this is like history, like this is not new,
Yeah.
but I know this, but it's just frustrating when you go through your life a good amount of the time able to get the things you want, do the things you have to do, and then you get that reminder, oh no, just kidding, we still
Mhm.
have some weird shit going on where you don't look like you can afford contact lenses. The fuck?
And I think Black women are number one consumers, and I feel like it's part of it is trying to validate, like, I'm worthy. And
Mm,
so you're still, I don't know how you're perceived, but you're still brown. So
I'm not
even if,
white.
yeah, you have the best outfit on and everything, you may encounter it, and then what? So I don't know.
Yeah.
There's always
Then I
some.
can for sure say it's race.
Mhm.
That's maybe that's what my mind is. My mind is like trying to find out what the problem is.
Mhm.
Is it because I look like I can't afford it because I'm bumming it today? Is it because you don't think someone of my shade or my whatever ethnicity you think I may be can't afford it? Are you making assumptions about, my finance? Like, what is it about you that made you come at me that way? And I really want my husband to go in there and ask next, dress the way he normally dresses, which is hoodie and some jeans or some, khakis or whatever, and see what happens. Because part of me wants to, just like people categorize other people, I want to know,
Yeah.
why didn't you give me the information? I don't want to have a conversation with you because I know you're not going to tell the truth and I don't really have the energy for that shit. But I'm still curious. I'd like to know.
I'm messy. I be asking. I'm like, I'm trying to think of the last time. I just asked for clarification. Like, I didn't hear what you said, or I don't understand what you said. I didn't ask that. Like, why are you asking me? Why are you telling me something is expensive? That's making a judgment.
But then that is perceived as angry Black woman.
And that's
And I don't have
fine.
time for, but I don't have time for that either.
What do I care what you think about me? You've already said what you thought about me
Yeah.
by providing me the information I asked for. So,
This is also maybe another thing that I would be interested to have your perspective on too, is I feel like I'm in a place where there aren't many of us. And I
yeah.
mean that by just non-white people. So I represent, and we've talked about how we represent. I'm not going to further your stereotype of people. Okay, you're okay. Thank you. See you later. Have a
Yeah.
nice day. Like
I don't know.
I don't want to, like I mean, I don't know.
Are there any
If it's in
stereotypes?
my control, I don't know.
I feel like living, like, I kind of feel bad about you living in a place like that because
I
even
feel
though it's
bad
posh,
about you living there.
even though it's posh, it's almost like you have to put white people on a pedestal. And it's like you're
Or like
living up
kid gloves, you got to be careful with them.
or trying to make sure you meet their expectations. And ugh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I couldn't do that.
I
Ugh.
don't know that that's what I'm doing. I'm just part of me is I don't care enough. I really don't care enough to have the interactions. I'm
Mhm.
curious about it. I want to know why, or I want to um not validate, but I want to confirm that what I think is actually true, because then I know how to deal going forward. But I don't care to have, you know how people get on Facebook and they just be debating and stuff. Like, I don't want to have
Yeah,
any
no,
of
that's
that.
just the
I
way.
don't care. I live here. My kids are growing up here. This is what we're
I gotta
doing.
say, it's not as
But
bad as to me at
you
least.
didn't see it. We were
It's
busy
not.
seeing homeless people and stuff. You didn't see they
No,
didn't have all their
but
Confederate
I'm
flags
saying,
out
looking at the people, like there was a lot of mixed people, a lot of black people. I was like, where's black
in
people coming from?
in Portland.
No, by you.
Oh.
There were
They knew you
like,
were here, so they came out. I ain't seen them, so I don't know.
like you can cut this out at school. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
could,
yeah, yeah. Well, African, straight from like there's a lot of Kenyans
and
there.
I saw
Yeah,
some
for
mixed
sure.
people in braids. Like I'm like, why do they have all these braids on these babies' heads? Like, it's like, why you got a
Because it
full head
rains out here. It rains a lot, so they just
had the
figure maybe
leaves
it's
on
easy.
these kids, like little kids' heads. I had never seen. I was like, really? So I was shocked because I'm like, I'm used to like when you say they're none, like I'm used to like one or five. Like there
Yeah,
were.
but outside of that location, you can go to the store. You can go if you're not going to the school or going somewhere, then I don't know.
There were a lot of
Going over
men.
there.
Where are these men? Shoot.
Really? Or maybe I'm not looking, checking for them. I don't know. I don't, I just,
No, not black. I'm just saying men. Period.
oh, I'm not checking for those either. I got one.
A lot
One
of
is
men in
enough.
one place. I'm not used to
Well, you need to come out some more.
it, right? As soon
Missed
as I got back,
connections.
yep. As soon as I got back, everybody on the apps. Oh, you want to go out? I'm like, yeah, right. You knew I was 1,000 miles or 2,000 miles away now. Now you're gonna ask me out.
You need to do it in advance. Set yourself up in advance. Like, I'm gonna be there in 2, 3 days. Let's start swiping and go to this. Yep. Do it like
Yep.
that.
Set up some
Your boo is out here. I feel it. I feel it.
fine.
Big old Viking,
See?
gingery, Jesus haired. I don't know what that was.
No, a few of them wrote me. I was cracking. I think I sent. I don't know if I sent you a screenshot, but I was like, "Oh my
You
god!"
did. You did. Mm-hmm. So
Oh
I don't
well.
know.
I don't know how they would perceive me. Just
Uh,
kidding.
you can't afford me. That's what it'd be like. You can't afford to live out here and
That's
do
dating
whatever.
too. Like we talked about this. You got to put on a thing, and I think that's where I struggle, especially seeing Keegan Michael Key wife. I'm like,
Oh,
I
that was a shock for me. I didn't know.
want somebody to be as proud of me as he is of his wife, and he's older than she is. So um just be yourself. The person for you is, well, from I'm talking to myself. The person for me is, so I just gotta
Yes.
be myself. I like my natural hair. Like I said, I was in the early
It's
2000s.
cute. I don't know what you're talking about. That's cute.
It's out of control. I got to get that together. But other than that, like you would be lucky.
Lucky.
Lucky. I'm a good time. I'm a good time.
More on that later. Yeah.
Ooh,
Anyway, I don't know. I don't know what that means. Yeah. So, anyways, I'm gonna get my baby's eyes fixed. No thanks to him.
good.
It also, I don't know, the new doctor I'm talking to is a woman and she's very open and receptive and all that stuff too. So it could be one of those issues or probably a whole intersectional situation, but she is maybe it's a mom to mom kind of thing because she's very like, okay, let's do this, blah, 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 blah,
That's what I
very
found
helpful.
even in the medical field. Doctors have not been as helpful as midwives, as
Mm-hmm.
nurse practitioners, and
Mm-hmm.
nurses. The doctors
Because
don't
the
even.
care, I feel like the midwives, the nurses, the nurse practitioners have had more of a focus on care, whereas doctors are more analytical. Solve the problem, no bedside manner, right?
And yeah, they think they can see you for 5 minutes. Like you're not helping me. You're just giving
No.
pay.
And there's times when the doctors will come in the office and not even made eye contact with me. They have
Mhm.
the little laptop thing. Okay,
Yep.
what's this? You feel this? Okay, cool. Didn't even touch me. By the way, you have GERD. See you later. Like what? How you
Like,
know
you
what?
didn't look at my ear? Like,
Like, can you, yeah, remember we said tap them knees. Come check me
at
out.
my knee
Put me in a
too.
gown. Put me in a gown. Okay. Like we need to, I got issues. You need to see all this. So it's like, Howard, that's not care. You don't
Yeah.
even care to look at me, you know? And my legal name is on my documents. I go by Emily. That's my middle name. And it's on there and it says preferred name, this. No, they still calling me something else. It's like, you can't
And
even
it's like,
be bothered.
how many times you want to keep correcting people?
Yep.
Ooh,
And I
excuse me.
don't. After a certain time, I'm like, I don't.
Yeah.
Who cares? Just can you tell me what's wrong? Like,
Please. And
please.
that's
I will
another
say
thing
please.
about perception. I used to fear being perceived as dumb, and then I realized I'm not dumb. I'm an intelligent person. If you perceive me that way because I'm asking a question, then that's fine.
Mhm.
And, and then I was embarrassed about being adopted. I remember I mean, not even embarrassed, but I would put my adopted family's health history on my like, how is that
Like that's
helping?
not helping you. Yeah.
So it's just like little weird perception things of embarrassment or shame that I had to let go of when I was younger. Just weird things
Mhm.
like that. Worried about how other people are perceiving me, putting myself at risk.
Yeah. I that's something I've recently had to really make an effort about too, is just coming into a place like a doctor's office and being like, well, I heard talking that way instead of saying, well, these are the things that I'm interested, like being more assertive, more confident in the way I speak. A lot of times I'm more deferential to them because they are the doctor, they are the this, they're the that, which is true. You obviously probably know more about this area than me, but I'm not dumb. I've obviously done my some kind of research or something, so I have intelligent questions to ask to get information that I require. And so instead of shrinking myself down and deferring to you, I can come in as a full ass adult,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And advocate for myself and ask questions and that type of a thing. And I think that's a way that women, girls are socialized too, is to come in and try to be less threatening to, somebody else. I got to stop that. I've been working
Yeah.
on it. I'm working on it.
Because I noticed I'll start talking like this. Like,
Yes.
why am I so quiet?
Or frame things in questions, like
Mhm.
you change it. Oh, like, or do you think maybe no, like, I want this. I want to
Yeah.
do this. Is this something that we can do? Instead of like, I heard, like that kind of stuff. Like,
People aren't
yeah.
prepared, and a lot of times you'll be perceived as a bitch or something, and then you just got to
Yeah.
be okay with it because
Yeah.
like there have been many times when I'm watching 90 Day what is it, Last Resort,
Oh
and
gosh.
there was one where the guy didn't tell his girlfriend something because he was scared of the way she's going to react, and it's like sometimes you can predict the reaction and you're just going to have to still go through with it and just
Yeah.
suffer repercussions. You already know it's going to be a reaction.
Yep. Oh well. Ooh,
Well,
that's adulting.
yep.
You got to just do what you got to do.
So fun. I don't want
Mm,
to adult.
I don't either. I don't want to get dressed for other people. So I'm not. But that's like my takeaway is like, I don't want to do that. So this is
You
what I
already
look
blew
like.
me up. No, you
Period.
up.
Well, no, I'm
Oh,
not even talking about trying to find somebody.
no,
That's a
I
whole
am.
nother that's a whole nother conversation though, because I do feel like, my younger years, I feel like I would get attention, even if I
Yeah,
was like with somebody. And now I get zero fucking attention. And I'm just like, I kind of
I
like
don't
it because
believe.
I can move through the world
But
however I want. But part of me is like that validation that
I don't believe you. I gotta see. I want to go
I
out
get
with
no
you.
attention. No, no attention. That
Oh,
reminds me
you.
of my age. Like I think if I was 20 something, like I know you and I are like, oh, we don't look our no, we definitely do when we're out in the world with younger people. You know what I mean? It's very clear that we are not
Girl, I'm somewhere at a club and they look like babies. I was like,
babies. Babies.
baby.
I'm like, does your mama know you got this outfit on?
I'm like, I
What
can't be in this company. I can't. I'm too old for that. I can't be in that company.
put them titties away. Like like what stuff that we used to wear. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm like, no, don't do that.
For a long time, I was like, these kids looking old, and then all of a sudden, bam.
Mm-hmm. So I know. I mean, there's been times I went back to my college campus to go do something, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm thinking I'm cute. I can go through. It's my
Go
own
to a
stomping. No,
black neighborhood. Go to a
I'm
black neighborhood.
old. Everybody look young in a black neighborhood." Oh
Catcalling.
man, no. Oh, no heads turned. It's cool.
I
I'm gonna go
do, and
dye.
I
I'm
don't
gonna
know
go dye
why.
my hair.
Some
Yeah, because
man,
you're cute.
no, I'm not. Some man screamed out the window. Hey, Like, oh man,
Dang, you got men hanging out the window, hanging out the passenger side of his best friend. Right? Why my kid asked me what a scrub was the other day? Oh gosh. Okay. Anyways.
All right.
All right.
What did you say?
I don't remember.
Love you.
I love you
Bye.
too. Bye.